Guys, thanks. We have a story in the WNBA as well. Sun and fever. You got Caitlin Clark back again. She returned on Saturday from that quad strain, and she was just hitting threes from distance, too. Keep in mind the three-point line, 22 feet. Her average on Saturday for her 7 threes, 28-plus feet away. Here we go again, picking up right where she left off. Fever up 4, then Fever up 2. Clark again. That one from 25 feet. Only 25 feet. She had 12 points, 3 of 4 from 3. 5 assists in the first half. Fever up 8. Okay, now we're going to get chippy. In the third, Fever up 55-45. Keep an eye on Clark and J.C. Sheldon. Clark trying to back down Sheldon. Sheldon fouls Clark, hits her in the face. Does she poke her in the eye there? There's a little bit more going on. Then Marina Mabry comes in. That's some solid contact. Sheldon clearly hits her in the face and then goes back at it again. Tina Charles comes in. Mabry's involved. Tina Charles, Clark, and Mabry, they all got technical fouls. Sheldon got a flagrant one. Clark went to the line, made both the free throws. That made it an Indiana 13-point lead, 68-52 going into the fourth. Now it's 81-64. Clark and Sheldon again. Handoff hits the deep three over Sheldon, and guess what? Now we're going to exchange some words. Clark is going to hype up the crowd. She had 20 points and 6 assists. Is this done? Glad you asked. The answer is no. Sheldon gets a steal. Sheldon coast to coast. No. Sophie Cunningham comes in with the hard foul. More pushing and shoving. In fact, Cunningham, Sheldon, and Lindsay Allen all got ejected for these shenanigans. Perhaps payback from earlier? Yes. Fever win 88-71. They win the game. They win a spot in the Commissioner's Cup final. But this was chippy.
I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game. This is what happens, right? This is what happens.
Do you think it's something pertaining to your team, or do you think this is a league-wide issue?
Well, I've seen quite a few dust-ups in the league so far, so I think it's a league-wide issue. I mean, bad officiating is bad officiating. Their job is hard. Their job is hard. Their job is hard, right? Their job is hard. The game has changed so much. Everybody's getting better, except the officials.
It's going to be the Lynx and the Fever. In the last 2 years, the Cup Championship turned out to be a preview of the WNBA Finals, and the Lynx and Fever are both among the top 3 favorites to win the WNBA title.
Technicals, ejections, and a trip to the Commissioner's Cup. Lots of the 88-71 victory en route to their first ever Commissioner's Cup final. Point performance, she was 4 of 6 from 3-point range as the Fever get the 88-71 victory en route to their first ever Commissioner's Cup final. And for more, we welcome in CBS Sports WNBA analyst Ty Carter. And Ty, we had a physical one between the Sun and the Fever, and it might have been what we might have expected considering the last time both of these teams met. But this time around, J.C. Sheldon and Caitlin Clark, 2 former Big Ten rivals, having a little scuffle. Marina Mabry sent Clark to the ground, Texas says. Then things carrying over to the fourth between Sophie Cunningham with the foul on Sheldon, ejections, everything. You had all the drama loaded in this one. But Ty, was it retaliation on maybe that attention that Clark's been getting, or maybe just 2 teams that tend to bump heads?
I definitely think it was just 2 teams that tend to bump heads. And Marina Mabry, she is known around the league as a reinforcer, and that's just kind of what it is. She tries to stick up for her teammates, whether it's right or wrong, and that is kind of her persona. But as a whole, the game was chippy, and I think the refs did the best that they could to control the matters without it escalating over the top. I think at the end with the ejections, they were warranted. They took their time at looking at the monitor and assessing who should be ejected. It ended up being Sophie Cunningham ejected for the Indiana Fever, and Lindsay Allen and J.C. Sheldon. And so within that, it was a really competitive game. Both teams were going at it. It was 3 ties. The Connecticut Sun, they never led in that game. However, the Indiana Fever were able to get ahead by at least 21 points in the competition. And so when it's all said and done, I think the game lasted about 20 minutes longer than it needed to, just due to all the trouble and controversy. But the Indiana Fever, they were able to seal the deal by getting the win in this game to punch their ticket to the Commissioner's Cup Finals.
Entertaining nonetheless, but drama aside, like you mentioned, Fever getting the win, heading to their first ever Commissioner's Cup. This is coming fresh off handing the Liberty their first loss of the season back on Saturday. Now, at this point, how are you viewing Indiana in the championship hierarchy across the W?
Well, it all depends how this game shakes out on the other side, because the Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces are rather close right now. Minnesota leading 49-47, and they were trailing at the half. So I think it will be an entertaining game. I think Indiana has all the pieces to win a Commissioner's Cup championship, and this could be a feel-good piece, right, going down to the regular season when it resumes for them. And so I think the Indiana Fever, with the fact that they were able to defeat the New York Liberty, their chances of winning are pretty high, but we have to see how things shake out in the West.
Okay, well, I want to stay in the East for a little bit, because how about the Liberty standing tall, scrapping their way from a 17-point deficit, went on a 39 to 17-point run to eventually take the victory. Sabrina Ionescu, another 34-point performance after putting up 20 in the first half alone. Now, this is coming on the heels of their first loss of the season on Saturday to the Liberty. They started off sluggish after the loss. Just what did you make of their comeback?
Resilient. I love the fact that they rallied, they didn't roll over, and that could have very much been the case in this game, and it looked like it at times. And it's like in the fourth quarter, they flipped that switch and they were able to get it going. The defense was aggressive, and I think that's where it all started for them. They were able to make defense convert to their offense, picking up steals between Natasha Cloud and Sabrina Ionescu, and they made the Atlanta Dream uncomfortable. They got them out of their bag, and when it seemed as though Atlanta was going to run away with the game, Sabrina Ionescu comes down and hits another three-pointer where she was striking hot, and that is the type of team that the New York Liberty are. They're overcomers, and so I was happy to see that for them. They didn't want back-to-back losses, and although it doesn't result in them going back to the Commissioner's Cup Finals, I think this win says a lot about the team in which they are and who they aspire to be as the reigning champions.
Like Ty mentioned, back-to-back 34-point performances for Sabrina Ionescu. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think she needs to be added to that MVP conversation. As always, Ty Carter, we appreciate you stopping by with the insight. Thanks so much.